That just made things so much more simple. This morning is a cold one. We've just come here to Brandywine Falls, which is along the Sea to Sky Highway between Squamish and Whistler. And I've been here a few times before, so for this one I at least know where to go and some composition opportunities, so I'll bring you along with me on this exploration. And it was only the last time I was here that I actually went down to the base of the falls, and that was a cool experience, so looking to get down there again as well today. So we'll go to the first sort of major lookout and head off from there. So we've just arrived to our first lookout here at Brandywine Falls, and it's actually really accessible, only a maybe 5-minute walk from the parking lot. Anyone can come here and you get this gorgeous view. We haven't taken any photos. We're actually going to continue on to the base of the falls first. We might take some photos on the way back, but as great as this view is, we're going to hopefully try and find a better one. We made it. We're at the base of the waterfall and it looks absolutely beautiful. Now, I might walk a little bit further just to sort of see for myself, to get a little bit closer to the waterfall, because it's quite a giant and to stand below it is quite nice, and it doesn't really look like there's too much mist that's stirring up, so I might be able to get a little bit close just to explore it. But I think from a photography standpoint, I'm not really going to get any closer than this, and in fact I'm probably going to go back and then switch to my telephoto lens, just because if I get too close then I'm sort of looking up at the waterfall and I think it just skews the perspective and it looks a bit weird. Whereas if I shoot the telephoto, I can get the whole waterfall, get some of the stream as well as the sort of surrounding cliffs that are around the waterfall. In terms of composing the shot, there's a sort of fresh layer of snow from a few days ago, and it's a bit hard to tell what is ice or rock or snow that you're just going to fall through. So a little bit dicey to sort of make my way around here, but what I think I would like to do is try and get more centered into the stream, and that way I could also center the waterfall, and it's just a really nice symmetrical composition. And I think it should do a nice job just sort of showing the waterfall and the surrounding cliffs with the stream. A little bit of a simple composition, but I think it will work really well here. I guess I'll head up a little bit closer, take a look, and then head back for my shot. So actually just literally before I head back, I'm looking at the base of that waterfall, and it looks pretty interesting because there's a lot of ice buildup, and it looks like the water sort of just falls right through it into the abyss, even though the actual ground isn't too far below that. So I'm thinking I might want to get my telephoto out now and shoot from here and just focus on that bottom section of the waterfall and just use that ice almost like a little bowl as the water's flowing through the middle of it. I'm not exactly sure how it'll come out, but might as well sit up and try and take a look. So I was originally shooting a horizontal composition of that base, but I actually switched to a vertical. I'm still focused on the base, but I just get a little bit more of that water. So it sort of accentuates the whole falling down into that little ice cavern. And just looking at the back of my screen, I think it looks pretty good. I'm at f11. I've bumped my ISO below 100, so I'm using that sort of Canon extension ISO 50, and getting a shutter speed of 1/4. So I was thinking I might have to throw on an ND filter, but it looks like with the water falling at 1/4 of a second, I'm doing okay. I don't need to push it too much longer. It looks pretty good, I think, and you've got the nice solid ice around it. Now, even though I'm shooting from the side, I actually think it looks pretty good from this angle. At least from this perspective, it looks like the ice almost sort of forms facing this direction. So it looks pretty good shooting from here because it looks like I'm shooting head on rather than from the side and getting a bit of an awkward angle. So I'm still in the same position, and I've gone back to a horizontal composition, and I've zoomed out to 70 millimeters. In terms of camera settings, I'm keeping the same f11, ISO 100, and on aperture priority, getting a shutter speed just around 1/4 of a second, maybe a little bit slower. But here at 70 millimeters, I'm getting a nice framing with the rocks around the waterfall, which I didn't actually see with my own eyes. So it's nice sort of to look through the camera and just be sort of really restricted to that view that you have. And the rocks are on the left and the right side, but not in the middle. So they really do a nice framing with some nice empty space in the middle, which is where the waterfall comes down and where the stream is, of course. So I think that one actually looks really nice as well. And it's nice framing. It's still just getting the bottom of the waterfall. I don't think going wider than 70 would do me much good, because then I would just include too much other things just to include the top of the waterfall. But I think it looks really nice just capturing the bottom of the waterfall from here with all that ice and the rocks. I think it's a really nice contrast. Now, I really like this head because it makes it really easy for me to do a panorama across the horizon, but whenever I want to do a vertical one, I've always had to loosen the ball head, try and shift upwards without shifting side to side, try and get the angle right, and just maybe do multiple takes and hope for the best. And it's generally been okay. It's worked out for me. Sometimes, just because it's uneven, I've lost some resolution because I've had to crop it in a little bit more than desired. But I don't know why I never thought about it this way. I have an L bracket, which makes it really easy for me to do those horizontal panoramas in a vertical orientation across the scene. But I can also use it with that notch on most ball heads and turn it into a vertical panorama device. And this works so much easier and so much better. So I know I'll be using this from now on. Well, I think that ends it here for me. I got a few compositions that are a little bit similar, but I like all of them. They each have their merit, and it's been a really fun place to explore here. Getting down here was a little bit tricky with the fresh snow and ice, but I had my micro spikes, so that was good. I learned how to do a panorama properly using my gear. Hopefully it will stitch a little bit better on the computer. It was certainly a lot easier to shoot, so that's a good sign. And yeah, all in all, a very great morning. Very happy with the results. Thank you for coming out to explore with me, and I'll see you next time.